My name is George, and I want to tell you a story about my life and how money affected it. How many here have had money affect their life? I grew up in a large family. Now, it was 10 people. Everybody do that with me. 10 people. That's a lot of people. It was crowded. It was a herd. But we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot, you know. Dad's goal was two things: to keep a roof on our head and food on the table. And he did a great job of that. But if you wanted anything else, you had to get it on your own. We were just kind of relied on it. Remember, Dad said, "You need a car?" He said, "Go buy a car." But we grew up. We grew most of the stuff that we ate. We went to a small farm. And I had a lot of brothers and sisters. And when you're in that environment, it's hard to be different. It's hard to make yourself stand out. Anybody ever want to stand out in your family, your friends, or your business? Well, that's kind of how I felt. I was just kind of in this herd. And I was always an innovator. I found that out later in life. But so what I did, I started looking around to see what I could do. I came up with this great idea. I'm 7 years old. How old? 7. I'm 7 years old. And I came up with this idea because we had a train tracks that went by our house. I grew up in Herndon, Virginia. And so what I did, I realized right about that time, vending machines were becoming popular. Anybody remember vending machines? You know, all you young kids in the crowd, you don't know. They use Bluetooth to put dollars in, right? or you Venmo it in or something like that. But vending machines were just coming into vogue. And I realized if I took a penny, and I took that penny and I went to the railroad track, and I got down, put one, I lined it up, another, I took another one, and I lined it up, and I lined all these pennies up on the railroad track. As the train would run over them, it would flatten it to the size of a quarter. And that could be used in the vending machine. So I'd go to the track, and I'd get all my pennies, and if you lined them right, they'd flatten out perfectly. If not, they wouldn't line up to the quarter, and you had to throw them away. That was called asset management. I didn't know it at the time, but it was. But then I would take these flattened out pennies, and I would take them to school and sell them for 15 cents. See, I was an innovator. So now I'm a 7-year-old counterfeiter. But I had a good business, right? I was like, I'm making money going, yeah, this is great. And so I started doing this. Word was getting around in school, and it was really great. And then my good friend Johnny, my best friend. Anybody have a good friend from high school? Your best friend you always count on? Well, Johnny's like, where you get all this money? And I said, I can't tell you. Sorry. He's like, no, I gotta know, you know. Gotta get into this. He goes, I don't have any money either. And he kept bugging me. You know how friends do that. And so finally I said, all right, I'm gonna let Johnny into business. So I told him about it, and you know, I figured there was 2 railroad tracks. He could have his own, I could have mine. I taught him business. And so we both making some money, right? I'm 7 years old. And I'm thinking, this is great. And then one day, the trains were late. So I got home late. And who was there? Dad. Dad of over 10 kids, so he had pretty good control. But one of the rules I had with Johnny to bring him into the business, I said, Johnny, here's the rules. If you're coming in, you got to say you're at my house, and I'm going to say I'm at your house. That was the rules. He's like, okay. So I get home, and Dad's home. Dad was a big man. He was strong, but he was a very, very demanding kind of guy. And Dad said, where you been? I said, guess what I said? I was at Johnny's house. And he goes, are you sure? I said, yeah. He goes, are you positive? You wouldn't be lying to me because you know how I hate lying. I said, oh, no, sir. I was at Johnny's house. And then he said the words that changed my life. Johnny's mother just called, and Johnny said, you were down at the railroad tracks putting pennies on the track. Oops. And my dad said, I'm going to teach you a lesson. He said, you're never going to lie to me again. And I learned two things. One, till the day my dad died, I never lied to him. Number two, never, ever, ever trust Johnny again. So I struggled with money up into my 40s. I was 47 years old and I hit a wall. I had 3 kids. I was busting my can, trying to do everything I could to have enough money in the house, and it just wasn't there. And I hit a wall. I associated growing with money. I was doing great. And I linked it with massive pain. And that just blocked out my ability to every business I tried. It'd get going and it'd crash. So what I did, I said, it's all about what you believe and what you decide. So I changed my decisions. And with that, I came up with a new program to turn one of those pennies into $1 million. And then I'm sharing that with everybody, even anybody that wants to, but you don't have to now put pennies on a railroad track. You don't have to get in the vending machine business. You just have to believe that you can take a penny and go from poverty to prosperity. And that's where my journey is headed. Thank you.